father was hanging from a roof beam. After school, the daughter not only did not save her father, but then she kicked the bench away from his feet. Finally, the daughter even showed a big smile to the killer. If you ask Bok Soon which is more difficult, being a mother or being a killer, Bok Soon must answer that being a mother is difficult. When Bok Soon is a killer, she can wear a beautiful maid's outfit and fight with the killer. When Bok Soon is about to be defeated, she can immediately change her weapon and defeat a strong man. At this time, Bok Soon is a cold-hearted killer. When the fight is over, Bok Soon, as a mother, goes to the supermarket to buy a bunch of goodies for her daughter Jeon. When Bok Soon finds out that Jeon is smoking, he tries to teach her a lesson. Jeon disagrees with Bok Soon's opinion.
That's like telling me to watch the lights when you're J-pop. Great argument, though. Seriously.
Bok Soon remembers her father beating her up when she smoked. Bok Soon couldn't understand why her daughter, as a mother, didn't agree with her. Bok Soon finds it very difficult to teach her daughter than to be a killer. Bok Soon's company, M.K, is the #1 assassin company in Korea. Bok Soon's boss, Min Kyo, is very influential in the industry. In order to regulate the assassin industry, Min Kyo has set 3 rules.
The first, you are never to kill anyone underage. Second, you will only take on shows sanctioned by your company. Third, you must attempt shows sanctioned.
Under Min Kyo's influence, all assassin companies were strictly enforcing these rules. The occasional insubordination was perfectly resolved. However, Bok Soon carried out a mission that was against the rules, so she had to be punished. Min Kyo's sister, Cha Min-hee, complains to her brother. However, Min Kyo only says that it doesn't matter. Min-hee is very concerned about her brother, and seeing that he always gives Bok Soon a pass, she wants to take revenge on Bok Soon herself. The company has trained a group of assassins. Min-hee found Bok Soon and wanted to punish her. This young girl, Young-ji, is the ace of the new generation of assassins. Since Bok Soon is Young-ji's idol, she is very excited to see Bok Soon, but Min-hee deliberately makes Bok Soon angry and says that Young-ji is more powerful than the previous Bok Soon. Bok Soon had to do something to prove his strength. Bok Soon took out the marker she had with her as her weapon. Even though Bok Soon was very relaxed in the fight, she knocked Young-ji backwards. Then Bok Soon punched Young-ji and knocked her to the ground. Young-ji spits out a mouthful of blood and gets up to fight again, but she is knocked down again by Bok Soon. Young-ji's learning ability is very strong. She quickly found out Bok Soon's weakness and attacked her. However, Bok Soon didn't panic. Either she immediately turns around and slashes the pen across Young-ji's throat. At that moment, Min Kyo issued a new mission for Bok Soon. There are 2 missions that need to be carried out quickly for Bok Soon to choose from. One is in Seoul and the other is in Russia. Because Bok Soon had to take care of her daughter, she did not hesitate to choose Seoul. Bok Soon finds out that the target this time is actually a teenager. Min Kyo tells Bok Soon that the teenager is an adult and tells her to finish the mission properly. Bok Soon tells Min Kyo that her contract is about to expire, so she thinks she will retire after this mission. At that moment, Bok Soon suddenly receives a call from the school and is told that her daughter Jae-yoon got into a fight at school and stabbed a male student in the neck. Min Kyo couldn't help but say,
That means she takes after you, apparently.
As a result, Bok Soon is very angry. Although Bok Soon is a killer, she doesn't want her daughter to become one too. Min Kyo didn't say anything else, and he assigned Bok Soon an assistant for this operation. That is Young-ji, who is going to become a killer. The mission was urgent but very simple. It turns out that the congressman's son got into the university through a connection. Netizens started verbal attacks against the congressman on the internet. The congressman arranged the assassin to kill his son in order to save his position. The congressman wanted to use his son's suicide to gain everyone's sympathy. Fu Kushwan first put the boy into a coma with anesthetic gas, and Fu Kushwan made a suicide note disguised as the boy's suicide. Just as Bok Soon was about to slit the boy's wrists, a phone call came from Jeon. Bok Soon couldn't bear to do it to the boy again, so she gave up the mission. Bok Soon has to call Min Kyo to tell him that the mission has failed. At this time, Min Kyo is in Vladivostok on a mission. When Min Kyo hears that Bok Soon's mission has failed, he can't believe it. However, the next moment, Min Kyo's target appears. Min Kyo shot at the enemy before he could hang up the phone and eliminated the target. While communicating with Bok Soon on the phone, Bok Soon cannot resign because of the failure of this mission. Min Kyo asks Bok Soon to work with him again. Bok Soon thinks about it and agrees to Min Kyo, but she asks that the failed mission not be given to someone else. Min Kyo agrees to Bok Soon's request, and after completing the mission, he leaves for the plane back home. Before the plane took off, Min Kyo explained the matter to his sister, Min-hee. Min Kyo doesn't want to hear Min-hee's complaints and hands up the phone. Min Kyo recalls his first encounter with Bok Soon. At that time, Min Kyo was on a mission. While Min Kyo was forging evidence of Bok Soon's father's suicide, Bok Soon came home early. Min Kyo wanted to kill Bok Soon, but when Bok Soon looked at her father, who would commit domestic violence. She didn't hesitate and kicked over the stool. Bok Soon watched her father struggle and die. Then Bok Soon gave Min Kyo a big smile. From that day on, Min Kyo knew that Bok Soon was a born killer. Min Kyo then took Bok Soon away and trained him to become the top killer he is today. Bok Soon's daughter came to Bok Soon to explain the situation. It turns out that Jeon stabbed a male classmate because he took intimate photos of himself and a female classmate. The boy tried to use the photos to threaten Jeon to stay with him. That's right, Jeon is a homosexual. Bok Soon can't accept this reality now. When Bok Soon doesn't know what to do, Young-ji arrives at Bok Soon's house. When Bok Soon threatened Young-ji with a knife, Young-ji took the initiative to explain that the company made her take the blame for the failed mission in order to cover up the truth. So Young-ji was fired from the company. When she heard the news, Bok Soon also felt bad for Young-ji and decided to go talk to Min Kyo. But then Bok Soon's friends come to the restaurant and they say that they want to celebrate Yoo-ho, who completed the mission and became a class assassin. Bok Soon is a bit shocked. She knows Yoo-ho's ability very well, so it's impossible for Yoo-ho to become a class assassin so quickly. Yoo-ho reveals the truth that Min found Yoo-ho and made him complete Bok Soon's failed mission. Bok Soon is angry that her agreement with Min Kyo was broken. At that moment, Min calls Yoo-ho in response to Bok Soon's questioning. Min made an offer: whoever can kill Bok Soon can directly become MK's B-class assassin. Since everyone here is a killer, everyone wants to kill Bok Soon to become a B-class killer. Bok Soon was ready to start persuading his friends, but before Bok Soon could finish her sentence, a rope strangled her neck. The friends all started to attack Bok Soon. Fu Shun could only fight with them. Although Fu Shun was a top assassin, she was a bit overwhelmed when faced with several counterparts at the same time. Soon she ran out of strength, but she managed to kill the weakest old man with a flying knife. Then Fu Shun stabbed the curly-haired man in the neck. She then took Yoo-ho and the man with glasses into the warehouse. Fu Shun punches Yoo-ho back and then kills the man with a knife. Yoo-ho's legs were cut off by Fu Shun, and he tried to escape by struggling, but Fu Shun didn't give Yoo-ho a chance. He cut off all his limbs. At this moment, Yin-ji was still fighting with the strong man. Fu Shun quickly went up and killed the strong man together with Yin-ji. Finally, Bok Soon found Yoo-ho and killed him with a knife. Bok Soon called the cleaning company to dispose of the bodies. She knew that this time things were very troublesome because Bok Soon and Young-ji have offended all the killers in Korea. They will be hunted down and killed. When Min Kyo found out about this, he immediately found Bok Soon. Given the current situation, Min Kyo can't protect Bok Soon, but Min Kyo still wanted to make a last-ditch effort, and he asked Bok Soon to sign the contract. Min Kyo wants to use his power to force other companies to give up their pursuit of Bok Soon, but Bok Soon isn't scared at all.
I could just explain myself. But how would you protect your sister?
He doesn't want to put his sister in danger, so he tells Bok Soon to accept the reality. Bok Soon thinks that her daughter must be taken care of, so she controls her anger and agrees to sign a contract with Min Kyo. Soon Min Kyo has a meeting with the assassin group, saying that this incident was caused by Yoo-ho and that Bok Soon killed Yoo-ho because of his order. So Bok Soon accidentally clashed with someone, and MK was willing to pay for the damage. A company leader took out a dagger and tried to threaten Min Kyo. The angry Min Kyo started to fight back, and he grabbed the dagger and smashed the company leader with his fist. Faced with such a crazy Min Kyo, the other companies can only agree to give up the pursuit of Bok Soon in silence. Meanwhile, Bok Soon comes to the office to sign the contract as planned. Min waits for Bok Soon's arrival, but she starts taunting him. It turns out that Min Kyo threatened Young-ji to keep the secret in order to cover up the truth. Young-ji promises Min Kyo on the spot that she will keep the secret. The next moment, Min Kyo kills her on the spot.
No, I'm a great liar. Just please wait, because I promise that I'm...
The easiest way to solve a problem is to get rid of it. You agree, huh?
Knowing that Young-ji died because of himself, Bok Soon killed Min-hae on the spot. At the same time, Bok Soon left a bloodstained blade for Min Kyo. The rule of the bloodstained blade is that two people duel until one of them dies. Back home, Bok Soon knew that he might not be able to come back this time, so Bok Soon eats with his daughter Jeon for the last time. Bok Soon waits for his daughter Jeon to fall asleep and then sets out on his deathbed. Just after the elevator opens, Min Kyo fires a few shots at Bok Soon but misses her. Bok Soon looks at Min Kyo with a smile. It was as if the two men had come to fight. It was more like a gathering of friends, but at that moment, the two men had already simulated various ways of fighting in their minds. You can predict my next move, but every scenario Bok Soon will be beaten by Min Kyo. After all, Bok Soon was taught all his skills by Min Kyo. Bok Soon knows that Min Kyo has always been fond of her, so she deliberately talks about the past. Min Kyo instantly thinks of the first time they met. Just as Min Kyo was dazed, Bok Soon slashed a knife through his chest. He never wanted to kill Bok Soon, and he was hurt on purpose. But Min Kyo had a surprise for Bok Soon. When Bok Soon first left home, Min Kyo gave Jeon a tablet computer. This tablet is connected to the office camera. Jeon saw Bok Soon's murder very clearly. Bok Soon was so worried that he rushed home immediately, but everything was quiet at home, and Jeon was already asleep. The next day, Fu Xuan transferred her daughter